Hey, how we going? Mick here from Hop Cartel. Just thought I'd check in. It's been a few weeks since I've done a video. Not too much going on in the hop yard for this video. But yeah, just thought I'd check in and say hi. Smashing a few of these oranges and new black. Good weather for it. Actually, since it's come on a bit, with the aging, I'm getting a fair bit of vanilla, which is coffee, but a lot of vanilla at the moment, which is very pleasant for the brew. So I've been busy, sort of with the family, doing sort of family things. But the main reason for this video is talk a little bit about the Keezer build, which is I've done a little bit yesterday, done some more today, a little bit more last weekend in between sort of doing those family things. So the collar went on, and I believe in one of the videos or the last video I was umming and ahhing about whether to go with a checker plate or some sort of decorative metal to dress the Keezer collar. I've decided to go with the original plan, and that was to clad it all the way up with the red cedar blind slats that I acquired. So far the build has cost me next to nothing. That's until we look at the kegs, the taps, the lines, premium bore lock connections and stuff like that. So in saying that, I think I've spent all up was around about $3.50 per tube of construction adhesive, or liquid nails, as a lot of people would know it. So you're looking at around about, yeah, what's that, $9 to $10.50, $11 or something like that for the glue so far. All up, a free chest freezer, or tucker box freezer as some would call it. Free cedar slats from work, and the glue, a little over $10 to build. So far, like I say, we're probably looking at 500 on top of that, 500 plus, I'd say, once we talk about getting the CO2 tank and stuff like that to equip it. But that's pretty much the only sort of financial outlay that it'll have for that, apart from running it, the costs of running the electricity and ongoing CO2 costs. So not bad at all to build something like this. Not so far into the project, not cost me anything bar be lucky to be 10 minutes in wages if it was my job. But anyway, that's the funny. So I'll give you a bit of a sneak peek at that. So there we have it. Come in and we'll look at the lid. So we went vertical with a slat on either end for the lid, which is finishing up flush. Horizontal slats in between those two vertical slats on either end. We've given it a bit of a rub down, sort of take some of those old tannins and stain sort of out of the wood. Now, normally when we're cleaning these blinds, we use a patent detergent which strips all the tannins and colour out of them, back to basically a light coloured cedar colour, and then we'd allow them to dry, and we'd recoat them in the cedar oil, which gives them a bit more life. I've left them how they've come out of the blinds, tannins and dirt and whatever else has sort of accumulated on them. Like I said, I've given them a rub down. As you can see, gives it a bit of a patchy finish. You can see on this slat here where I've rubbed it with a I think it was a P600 grade sandpaper. Rubbed it hard in places and soft in others, sort of get that rustic finish happening on them. I've also done the same down the front. We've got these two slats here that were obviously, they've probably come from the bottom of the blind or the very top of the blind where it hasn't had exposure to sun and harsh UV elements, so they've not sort of, they look a bit out of place. These two top ones is where the collar is, so I've run the slats all the way up and clattered it, and clattered over the collar where I was going to run a checker plate or propeller plate aluminium. Went against that purely for cost reasons. I'd rather than go out and spend money on a bit, a couple of pieces of, or I mean I've got contacts, but to run it from the sides, a folded piece across and around, not necessarily fabricated. I probably could have went into the workshop and done it myself, considering I've worked in the workshop in sheet metal for 5 years. Still got, like I say, still got good contacts there, so I could have done that, but it would have cost me. At the end of the day, I've got plenty of slats at no cost whatsoever, and it's never too late to sort of change my mind with that either. There's nothing stopping me from, if I don't like the look of it in the end, I can always go back and run a thin strip over it of propeller plate or checker plate or something like that. Other than that, I'm pretty happy with the outcome. It looks pretty plain from top to bottom because of that reason. I've clattered all the way down. Just looks like one big timber box, but that's the whole idea of it. The bar will, once the bar's sort of done in the cave here, it'll all sort of tie in. I've acquired probably another 4 blinds, but they're a lacquered cedar, so they'll need rubbing back, but they're going to be put aside and they'll be tied into the whole bar build and the finishing there. So that's that. I'm not sure what I'm going to do here with the lid section, the handle section. I will run a set of LED light strips under there, which will throw down onto where the tap sections are. We're still in debate, well, not so much debate, but throwing between designs on how to run a drip tray. We've looked at a few builds, but particularly one in America where they use a draw slide system, similar 4-tap setup with the draw slide, and then they basically, you've still got to drill into the box section, which is a major risk. You could puncture any of those sort of refrigerator lines, or there could be core, or it could be anything in there. I'm not sure. I haven't looked into sort of the blueprints of this freezer itself, but in saying that, they done it successfully, where they were able to drill into it and then pot rivet a rail, and then that rail has a mount, and on that mount they put the drip tray, and they can slide the drip tray between taps. Their basic setup is one tap, which would be say a lager, and then a dark beer, a lager, and then a dark beer. Their setup had the 4 kegs, but only running the 2 styles of beer. So obviously they done up 2 23 litres of kegs of a dark ale, and 2 23 litre kegs of a lager, and they run them, like I say, a lager, dark beer, lager, dark beer, primarily running off the 2 taps. And then when those kegs blew out, they slid the drip tray across and run the other 2 taps. They then pull those kegs out and replace them if they had some ready to go, or they would brew again, fill those kegs, and run alternatively between the taps, and also being able to slide that drip tray. It always had that one long draw slide. To me, it sort of looked, sort of untidy, but functionality, it was a pretty good design. So we're also going to cap the collar inside here. Still got to run some sealer around it to make sure it's sealed and holds the cold. We're going to cap it with cedar around here as well, just to dress it off and finish it flush at the top here. Obviously all the way around. We haven't done the back section for obvious reasons. You're not going to see that, so decided to leave that how it is. But that just shows you sort of that collar. Moved the screw mounts over as far as I could to the side. It's screwed in here as well. Got caps to go in there. I've sourced some brown timber lookalike contact to go on that. That may be what we're going to do with the handle section as well, but in saying that, I've go and talk to the boys at the fabrication shop and see whether they can do me up a 1mm aluminium finish. I may get powder coated to sort of basically any colour I can think of. I think it'll go with it. We'll get it powder coated. Other than that, that's sort of the progress of the build. Like I say, I'm pretty happy with how it came out at what it's cost me so far. It's a whole lot better than just having a plain white freezer with a timber collar like that. Or if it was a brand new freezer and it was perfect and looked spot on, but this one had been part of a before and after school care, like an Ush, been quite beat up, still runs bloody beautiful, but cosmetically it was 100 times uglier than what it is now, that's for sure. Still a fair bit to do on dressing this one up, getting it to look decent, but like I say, I'm happy with it. That's basically all for this video. We'll talk a little bit more about the hop yard a little bit down the track. World Home Brew Club. J-Man's back for his little family holiday, which he went on a cruise. I believe around some of the little islands there. He should be back on board with World Homebrew Club very soon. We've got Homebrew Talk 100 coming up. For those who have sort of floundered around and sort of had a bit of a look about, you know, with what's going on with Homebrew Club, get on board. Request to join. We'll, obviously check out a little bit of your background, make sure that you're joining for all the right reasons. Other than that, it's been quiet. We've got our active members, you know, who are posting up various things. Once again, the spent grain breads and the distilling, the alternative side of the reasons for the page, winemaking, cooking. You know, we go back over the same topics all the time, but it's just to reiterate what we're there to do, what we want to see, and obviously encourages other people to get involved in those sides of things. Primarily, yes, brewing, beer, spirits and wine, but if you make jerky, you smoke meat, or you make soap, or, you know, just sort of home style stuff like that, then by all means, yeah, upload, show us what you're doing, and sure there will always be someone who is going to take interest in the alternative side of things to the brewing process and those other home hobbies surrounding you know, freestyle type stuff. Other than that, cheers. Here's to the Sunday session. Cheers.